Let's talk about the Jaylen Brown situation. As a Boston fan, when I saw the fallout of not getting Giannis, I was like, man, that really sucks because how is Jaylen Brown going to feel when he finds out that Brad Stevens tried to trade him for Giannis? Now, we haven't seen any reports from Jaylen Brown himself saying he wants to be traded. Doesn't mean that's not going on behind closed doors, but there could be other conversations where Brad Stevens is trying to mend the relationship, or maybe he's trying to tell him, look, we might have to move off of you because we need the flexibility to build a championship contender. And as a number one option this year, you proved yourself, and maybe that's going on. Who knows? There's a lot happening here. I would rather the Celtics keep Jaylen Brown. That's just what I want to see play out. And the reason why I feel that way is because Brown himself is one of the best players in the NBA. He showed this year he can take a team and get them to the second seed and prove the doubters wrong. Now, I understand they lost in the first round, but as I keep saying, the drop off in talent was going to show itself eventually. Like you go from Kristaps, Al Horford, Cornette, Drew Holiday to Baylor Shireman, Neemias Queta, Hugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh. I know they have Sam Hauser, Derek White, Tatum came back, but that drop off was going to show itself eventually. I don't think they were going to beat the Knicks if they advanced past the Sixers. So, with all that being said, I would rather see them run it back because Tatum is going to be healthy. You got experience with Kada and Shireman in the playoffs, and you hope that experience helps them level up a little bit. You hope that Hugo Gonzalez becomes a contributor to this roster. If you're Boston, maybe you go get Robert Williams III, who was healthier this past season and who shot 39% from three. I know it's not the biggest sample size, but he's not going to cost a lot. And then you just develop your guys internally. They have shown they can develop guys. Heck, they drafted Tatum. They drafted Jaylen Brown. They drafted Peyton Pritchard. So it's not like Boston doesn't have a good system in place. And also, you developed Neemias Queta and you drafted Baylor Shireman. You drafted Jordan Wall. So you look at the CBA right now, and it's just not as easy anymore to win a championship. When I look at what's going on in the NBA, be happy that you got a championship, to be honest, because there's no guarantee you'll be back the following season. OKC looked like they were guaranteed to make it. They ran into the Spurs, and they had some injuries that happened to them. So it's just not easy to build out a dynasty and repeat. They're also trying to move off of guys. They traded Wiggins. Now they're looking to trade Isaiah Joe because they understand, look, we don't want to be in this situation where we don't have flexibility. So the second apron doesn't wait for anybody. Cleveland's dealing with that right now. So if I'm Boston, I would keep Brown because he's locked up for 3 more years. I understand that does put some challenges with improving the roster, but you got to draft really well. You got to be able to develop guys. You got to have a really good farm system in the guys you're picking up. And you're going to have rookie deals, but if you can land some of these guys and they fulfill roles for the roster, that's how you got to build it these days. You look at the Thunder, you look at the Spurs. I know people were celebrating OKC losing in 7. They're going to be back. Hate to break it to you. They're not going anywhere anytime soon because they can go out and draft guys, they can develop, and they still got Shea. I think Chet will be better next year. And we can't act like they weren't the number 1 seed this past season. The Spurs will be back as well. Both those teams have young athleticism, they have draft capital and flexibility. If I'm looking at the blueprint, I want to build a long-term contender. It's not easy, but I want to be in the mix. So if you feel like you can do that with Jaylen Brown, keep him. If you don't feel like you can do it, then it sucks, but you got to move on. So my thing is, I don't know what's going to happen here. By the time I drop this video, Jaylen Brown might be traded. I don't know. However, I would much rather see this work itself out. You bring back Brown, you run it back, not with the same roster. I understand they need to make some changes. So if it means moving off a guy like Sam Hauser, Derek White, love the guys, but sometimes you just got to try something different, and they need a center besides Kada, and maybe Kada is a better backup center. I don't know, but Boston's got to make some moves. The center market is tough. I would just go ahead and see if Robert Williams III is worth it. I know it's a risk, but you got to take chances in the NBA. It's just part of the game. You got to play it. If you don't, if you're not trying to be competitive, look, Boston, we're spoiled. There's no doubt about it. We have seen playoff runs, 2 NBA Finals appearances, 1 championship, but I want to see one more Brown and Tatum. I think it would be really cool to watch. I've been saying this all along. I think it could take Boston at least 2 seasons to revamp. So the first off season they just went through, it went perfectly. I can't lie. You found some gems with Shyman and Kata, and maybe Hugo pans out really well. They're high on him. And you got to figure out what you're going to do with the small forward position because you got a log jam right now, small forwards. So for Boston, I would try to mend the fences with Jaylen Brown. I know it's crazy. I know maybe I'm the minority. Maybe people are like, well, I'm ready to move off. I think they need to just change their style, like shoot less threes, learn to have more plays and flexibility where if you're down 15, you're not trying to just jack up 5 3-pointers in a row to get back in it. Like have Jaylen Brown run sets or Tatum get more in the paint and just have better chemistry there. And have a guy like Rob Will come in and give you some flexibility there. Look, they're more athletic now, and that's encouraging with guys like Hugo, guys like Kata, guys like Jordan Walsh. I like those guys a lot. I just think right now this is a delicate situation. It go two directions. For me, keep Jaylen Brown, work it out, figure ways to get better as a basketball organization. I think the culture's great. Just find a way. Like, there's just no excuses. I know people like to cover up things and say, oh, well, this happened, that happened. I'm like, look, things are going to happen in the NBA. You're going to lose and you just got to own it and you got to figure out how to get better. And Boston's not in a bad spot. You bring back Brown, you can have your second option next to Tatum. And I think Tatum will be back to himself. He looked really good when he returned and he didn't get injured. I thought that was the biggest W this season for Boston. Biggest one. He didn't have a major injury, like another Achilles situation. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about the Boston Celtics. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.